Good morning. This is Ms. Billerbeck, and we are going to talk about section 2.3, subtraction and absolute value of the difference. So subtraction is the reverse process of addition. So if I have 3, so if I'm starting at 3 and I'm subtracting a positive 4, I'm going to go this direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, and get to -1. So this is a positive 4, but it's going in the minus direction. Okay, so, or the negative direction. So this equals -1. Now, if we looked at -2 minus 3, so let's add a few more of these. Okay, so we have -4 over here, -5, and -6. All right, so if we start at -2 right here, and we subtract 3 again, 1, 2, 3, we're right here. So we're subtracting a positive 3. So this particular one would be -5. Now what happens if we're at -1 and subtract a -3? Ooh, that's a little crazy. Let's get some room here to look at that. All right, so if we start at -1, and we want to go this way to subtract, right? Is this side going that direction, subtraction. So we're faced that direction to start going that direction, but now we're going -3. So we end up going this direction. So we go -3 this way. So we're at -1, and then we add 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this actually looks more like -1 plus 3, which ends up 2. Now, if we look at this one, 2 minus a -2. Okay, so this one, again, we're trying really hard to go the one direction. We're right at 2. We're trying to go that way, but it's a -2, so we're going right to here. So that ends up at 4. So if we rewrote this, this would be 2 plus 2, because 2 negatives make a positive, so that's 4. All right, and that was a -2 right here. There we have it. So we were actually subtracting a -2. All right, let's go to this one. So with that in mind, if you remember, we had same sign sum. So if we have the same sign, we add them and keep the sign of the bigger number. If they're different signs, we take the difference. So these have 2 different signs because we can rewrite this as 15 plus -28. So they have different signs. So what we want to do is take 28 and subtract 15 from it, which gives us 13 here. And we look at the bigger number, it's negative. So our answer then is going to be a negative answer. So the answer for this one is -13. So if we rewrote this, since we have two negatives here, this is negative 12 plus 4. Again, different signs take the difference. So 12 minus 4, and that gives us 8. The bigger number is negative. So we know that the answer is going to be negative. So this is negative 8. And this one, if we rewrite this, oh, it's same sign sum. Well, we know what 3 plus 10 is. That's just 13. That's easy. Well, let's up the scale of difficulty here. Now we're going to go back and start doing absolute values. So first, if we remember the absolute value, its only function is to show the distance. Distance is always positive. So if we think of this absolute value like a washing machine of negative signs, then once we've done the operation inside the absolute value signs wash away any negatives that may result. So if we rewrote this, applying the absolute value, we would have 8 minus, and the absolute value of negative 28 is positive 28. Now we have different signs take the difference. Well, 28 minus 8 is 20, and the larger number has a negative sign in front of it. So that'll be negative 20. Now this one, if we rewrote it, this negative means it's going to carry through. We've got a dirty laundry room. So the clothes get dirty, or the negative sign stays put. But in here, the absolute value of 5 is negative 5 is just 5. And then minus, and the absolute value of 7, well, if you put clean clothes in the wash, they still come out clean. So the 7 still is going to be a positive 7. Okay. So now we have same signs, sum. So we add them. 5 plus 7 is 12. And the larger number has a negative sign in front of it. So we have negative 12. All right. So let's look at this. So we have 10 minus, and then we have another minus in parentheses. So we do parentheses first. Actually, we do absolute value first because that's a grouping symbol as well. So we have negative, and then the absolute value of negative 6 is 6. So now we do this parentheses. So we have 10. This is 10 plus 6, and we know what 10 plus 6 is. We even wrote it down right there. So 10 plus 6, that's just going to be 16. All right, let's work on this one. We have 3, but we have to do this first. Okay, so we have a minus minus, so that makes it the absolute value of positive 9. And then we know the absolute value of positive 9 is just 9. So we have different signs, so we take the difference. So 9 minus 3 is 6. The larger of the numbers has a minus sign in front of it. So it's a negative 6. Let's talk about submarines. So a submarine is 78 meters below sea level. It rises 36 meters and then dives 25 meters. How far is it below sea level? Now, I know the book doesn't have an awesome drawing like this, but whenever we have a word problem, if we get to draw the picture, we should do it because pictures are worth more than 1,000 words. So this makes it so easy to understand. So we went down to 78, but now we're rising 36. So that one, we're going to do 78 minus 36. We're trying to find that difference. Okay, so 78 minus 36 happens to be, let's see, that's 42 meters. Okay, so that rose. So if we look at this, this is 42 meters right here going down to that. Okay, so now if we look at, well, we dropped 25 meters from 42 meters. So we subtract 42, we'd start with 42 meters minus 25 meters. Okay, so 42 minus 25 ends up, we have 17 meters. Oops, I went the wrong way. We're adding to the depth. We're adding to the depth. I almost messed up because my submarine is not rising, it is going down. So we're adding to the depth. Okay, so 42 meters plus 25 meters ends up 67 meters. So this is 67 meters below. Below means a negative number. So we end up at negative, oh, it says below. So it's already taking in consideration that it's below. So if it hadn't had this word below, we would have put negative 67, but it said below. So it's 67 meters below sea level. All right. So let's do one last example. So find 14 decreased by the distance. Distance is always positive of 25 and negative 17. So we subtract those two. Okay, so 25 minus that. So it's negative 14 minus, this becomes the absolute value of 25 plus 17. So negative 14 minus, and this one gives us 42. So we have same sign, we add them and keep the sign. So we have a negative answer because both numbers are negative, and we add them and we get 56. All right, so that is negative 14 decreased by the distance. Whenever we talk about distance, we use an absolute value sign between 25, and when we're finding the distance between numbers, we subtract, so 25 and negative 17. So that's where we got that plus sign. All right, well, you have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.